Good evening, everybody. My name is Adam Arwood. They call me the Zotmeister. My sincere apologies for the late start. It's Throwback Thursday. Hope it was a good one for at least most of you. Would be nice. Yeah, things were a little weird my end here. I was still not sure if I was going to be able to do what I wanted to do until, well, like maybe 30 seconds before I actually went live. Yeah, this is getting a little obnoxious. But things seem to be going well now, and hopefully we won't have too many unpleasant hiccups as this goes on. Guess we'll find out. So at any rate, tonight's theme was exactly the theme that I threatened it would be if my problem was solved, and I'm hoping that it has been. Hoping. So tonight I will, as I did last week, do fighters and brawlers again, and I do apologize for the repetition so soon. However, last time I was doing specifically arcade games. This time, I'm going to be doing games that were never in an arcade. The one-on-one fighting game, of course, perhaps most popularized by Street Fighter II and the Neo Geo. It was definitely born as an arcade culture. However, even after the dawn of Street Fighter II, as it were, there were some one-on-one fighting games before then. I will not be getting into those right now. Someone more familiar with old computer games is probably your better bet there. Yeah, there was a big boom, a big flood of games that wanted to be Street Fighter II at the time, and some companies didn't let the fact that it was a genre born in the arcade and designed for, playing against random strangers to get in the way of making their own little games to play on home consoles and the like. And I've got a quaint little list here of some interesting titles that were never arcade fighters or brawlers, perhaps the most popular genres of a video game in the arcades in the early 90s. They never saw an arcade. There was never an arcade version of them. It's hopefully something that will be interesting and or educational to most of you. Yes, there is already a list of games that people are predicting will be on my list, or perhaps suggestions there. Yes. Clay. Weapon Lord was one that came to mind, and I intentionally decided I would not play. I remember not liking that game at all. It bugged the crap out of me in a very short period of time. But yes, that is definitely a game that fits the list. The Clay Fighter series, yeah, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Tournament Fighters. I thought of both of those. One I actually wrote down, but I did consider the other one. I probably will be playing at least one of those two. Yes, indeed. Time Killers was in fact originally an arcade machine. I have spent far too much time on that. Oh, man, that game. Playing as Matrix against I can't remember his name, but the caveman. A thug, I think, or something like that. It was always interesting to actually kill my opponent before the message saying to begin the round has actually disappeared from the screen. It's almost a little glitchy the way that happens. Rise of the Robots. It's probably a good thing that I didn't think of Rise of the Robots. If I ever do a really, really bad game night, that's one to consider. Well, it's good to see this list coming out here. Actually, I should write down a couple more here. Time Killers was surprisingly playable for what it is. It is all things said and done. It's not the greatest of games, not even remotely. But I've seen a lot worse. I've seen far worse. Eternal Champions was not an arcade game, and that is definitely going to be one on the list tonight because, first off, it's one of the few that I have for the Genesis, and I wanted to put at least one representative of that out there. And it well, play-wise, it's not terribly impressive, but it is. It has a number of things that I really would like to show off. And it's perhaps one of the most thought of examples of a fighting game that was designed from the ground up for consoles. And yeah, it never saw an arcade release. It was designed for the Genesis, and I think there was a sequel for oh, I can't remember if it was the Mega CD or the 32X, but yeah, it was always home consoles. Yes, Shaq Fu did also occur to me, but I don't believe I will be doing that one if for no other reason than that I haven't played it yet myself. I have no actual experience with it. Uh, but it is something that might happen again. It's always possible that I may return to a topic at some point, or otherwise want to do that one again. Um, find some other reason to play it. Can always happen. Okay. Right. So the way that I'm going to do this, I have a much longer list of fighters than I do brawlers, and I think that the fighting games are also a little more interesting, a little more varied. So I'm probably still going to do a full 2 hours on that, despite the fact that I've started a little late. After I take my break, I'll then move on to brawlers that were born on the consoles, never had an arcade release. I'll be showing off fewer of those, decidedly fewer. I might actually go through my entire list, or at least a few representatives of it. Sometimes I just have a series written down, and I'll probably just play one of them. But generally speaking, those games are probably more likely to last a little bit longer each. So that's probably going to be the better fit for the remaining hour and a half or so that I end up leaving myself with at that point. So that's the plan, anyway. Oh, Sire. Well, I've never played it. I can't say if it's a good game or a bad game. I've just plain never played it. I haven't. Yes. Before I get things started, I want to give a shout out to Cap Howdy there, who clued me in to the existence of an SNES emulator that I actually haven't tried before. And, well, it's not total arse. It looks like arse, unfortunately, because it's got this really weird scaling thing going, and not even the most basic of bilinear filters available. It allows plugins from other emulators to be used with it, but it's all really fancy, ugly shit. Nothing simple, basic, smooth out the rough edges. So, however, it runs incredibly well. Far better than any other SNES emulator I've seen. So I'm hoping, upon hope, that I can actually get away with streaming it. Doesn't seem to be any reason that I wouldn't. And I'm also hoping I don't run into too many incompatibilities or whatnot as I do it. So I do actually have a lot riding on this. If that ends up falling apart, then I may be starting the brawler section a little sooner than I would like. There is definitely, because the SNES was such a popular console at the time, and it ended up being such a large bastion of games that specifically fit this topic. If things fall apart at that end, that would be kind of bad. There are a lot of titles that I'm hoping to be able to squeeze in. I'm probably going to end up doing like 3 or 4 SNES fighters here. So yeah, that's going to be a thing. I'm hoping that when the graphics are actually in action and whatnot, that it isn't going to look too bad, because the scaling that emulator has without any pleasant filter, not even the most simple basic of filters is available. Yeah, it's gonna look weird. It's things are gonna be a little off, and I hope that's acceptable to you all, because this is definitely a topic I really want to do. Hopefully this is something that the emulator makers can work on at some point. A simple bilinear filter is all that's needed. But other than that, at least it plays well without totally draining the CPU, and that's more than I can say for any other SNES emulator I've tried, so hey, we're gonna go for it. We're gonna try. Yeah, so my thanks to Captain Howdy for pointing that out. I do greatly appreciate that. Howdy in. So, how about I get this starting soon image out of your face? I actually already have a game running in the background. How about I unmute it? Yeah, that looks about right. So I did preview this game, although I didn't exactly do it justice, during last week's stream, because I was trying to play. You basically saw like a slideshow of it, because I was trying to play it at a time where my CPU was maxed out, because I was also running Street Fighter 3 in the background, getting it through its initial data load there. Yeah, well, that's what happens sometimes when you take requests. The things that you weren't planning on come up, so that happens. You know, Sire, that's not a bad bit of advice. I should consider setting up some scene option where I've got the face in the main window. Mind you, I'm not sure I want you people to see my face at a higher resolution than we're already at right now. It'll be a little more obvious that, like, for example, I haven't shaved, you know? That's that kind of thing. But hey, hopefully you're all ready to have some fun. So yes, this game, 1993, so this is actually, you know, I really should have made certain I knew this in advance. I'm fairly certain that Street Fighter II debuted in arcades in... yeah, it was 1991. 1991. So this was definitely still the height of the boom. But yes, this is an NES game, or more accurately a Famicom game. This was never released outside of Japan. Yes, Joy Mecha Fight. I will spare you the, seizure-inducing flashing. Game definitely should come with an epilepsy warning during its intro there. Yes, so we have a couple of robot makers that apparently were friends at one point in time. But one of them decides to go rogue. Steals the prototypes, smashes the machine. This poor old guy left with nothing else better to do. And of course his old partner, mustache, goggles and all, taunts him. But what's he gonna do? Borrow Mario's hammer, get some duct tape, throw together a shoddy little bit of work there. Get his device functioning again. And, well, time to reclaim his issues. So when this starts, this guy here has 7 different robots, and you've only got the one. But with each one that you beat, you take it back over, essentially. You reclaim it and can use it yourself for later fights. And I don't know when or how, but this game apparently saves progress. It's not a manual selection, it's not something you choose to do, it just plain happens, it auto-saves. Very unusual for a Famicom game. I'm kind of frankly shocked. So, yeah, I basically tested this out once. I beat like 1 or 2 guys, and then playing this last time I was shocked. It's like, oh, they're still beaten. Huh, it saved progress. Weird. But at any rate, yeah, so we've got 3 down, 4 to go, and yeah, we've got we have attained parity. We now have 4 on each side. This is the original guy right here. And these are actually English words written in katakana. This is start, and this is manual. And this is a really, really neat feature of this game. And it wasn't really viewable on stream last time, so I'll do it again. This here is demo mode. It will actually show you some of the special moves of the characters and the commands to do them, see them in action. This is something that, like, every fighting game should have, and they don't. So, yeah, Capcom, get right on that. Lazy pricks. This is your projectile attack there. This one here, it's the throw, I believe? Yes. Or nay. And this one, yeah, your charge attack. Good old Blanca Ball! Yeah, this is a command practice mode here. Now you don't actually duck, but when you're holding it down, you see you do assume a different stance, and you do have different attacks. Lower aim, as it were. And you get a little power bar they show at the bottom to see how much damage you're going to do with your attacks. So, let's send this little guy out against this stone-looking thing. The battles are best 3 out of 5. But you only recover a relatively small amount of health, or whatever it's called in this game. Robots don't typically have health. Armor points, I guess. When you win a round, you don't go back up to full, you just regain a small amount of what you've lost. And this guy is really crowding the plate right now. For a... he doesn't seem to like those. Oh. gonna KO him with the long-range head attack. I said we're going to KO him with the long-range head attack. There we go. Runs at a really nice 60 frames per second, as does, well, pretty much anything on the Famicom. Yeah, it's got that whole Rayman-esque, separate sprites for the digits, the limbs, head, whatnot, in order to, get things running smoothly. This is a very... Ow! Should have known some big rock-looking robot would have a powerful slam, right? Structure points. Hull. Hull points, right? It's a very fun, well-designed game. Now, I only just started messing around with it, frankly, but it all seems to be there. For a 2-button fighting game, it all seems to be here. It works. Kinda makes you wonder why it is that Nintendo didn't try to make other one-on-one fighting games. Well, yes, there is Smash Brothers, but that's not exactly one-on-one, is it? That was also really HAL Laboratories' thing, not Nintendo themselves, per se. Wholly owned subsidiary and all, but still not exactly the same thing. Yeah, I'm not worried about winning this one at this point. Having trouble getting that last bit down. There we go. Oh, Mugen. So apparently there's a channel on Twitch, Salty Bet, I think it is, that does this sort of entertainment wagering thing. I'm not really all that interested in it. I mean, I'm not about to go make an account with them or anything, but it amuses me that this exists. They basically run Mugen fights. I guess they have AI play both characters, set up the card, and yeah, people in chat actually wager you know, fictional channel currency on the outcome of the fights. I stopped in there briefly, and I had to say, it was just as entertaining watching chat as it was the fights themselves. It was hilarious. Yeah, it is amusing for what it is. But yes, that is how Joy Mecha Fight works. That robot that I just beat was removed from the list. I could choose my next opponent now, and I could choose to use the one that I just unlocked in the new fight. It's a very, very amusing little game, this one. That is Joy Mecha Fight. Despite the low tech on the hardware, it's a very, very nicely playing game. I am thoroughly impressed with that. So yes, that is the one and only NES example that I have for you. Sorry, but not a lot to pick from there. I suppose I could have tried to dig up one of those so-called Hong Kong originals. There's sort of this series, actually, of NES games that are intended to be, shall we say, homages to various one-on-one fighting games, Street Fighter 2, some of the Neo Geo stuff. And they're all completely coded from scratch, because, you know, there are no NES versions of those sprites and that already existed. So yeah, they basically made fighting games out of those old characters, and sometimes they mix and match characters from different games, different genres. Some of the earliest crossover titles are actually probably those Hong Kong originals, which I suppose calling them a bootleg isn't necessarily accurate because they don't really try to necessarily emulate any one particular game. They're, copyright violations left and right in most of them, I'm sure, but the game as a whole is an original creation coded from scratch. So yeah, these are things that exist, but that was, as far as I know, the only officially licensed one-on-one NES fighting game. In that pure sense. Although I suppose, in the interest of full disclosure, I would have to mention that the very popular US NES game Track and Field 2 has a karate mode, which works actually reasonably well for two players play against each other. And it feels kind of like a pre-Street Fighter 2 fighting game. And I would be completely remiss if I didn't mention that cult classic Caveman games and its dueling game, which starts with an intimidation phase where the two players are supposed to mash the buttons, shake the D-pad around as fast as they can to try to scare their opponent away. It changes where they start the fight on the level, and and then basically once the real fight starts, they're taking clubs to each other. It's it is an amusing little thing there. Heavy Mana Beast, welcome, and for that matter, Captain Howdy, Energizer Kitty, Jezendar, Sayachur, welcome. Glad you could make it tonight. I didn't actually start off with any with any individual hellos. Oh yes, of course. I am such a fool. Why did I not remind myself to say this? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters did not have an arcade game. It did in fact have an NES version, which I've played, and it's rubbish. There's also an NES version, which is utterly fantastic. It's one of the better one-on-one fighting games of the console. And there was also a Genesis version. Most notably, each of these three games is completely independent of each other. They play very different from one another. They have different rosters. The very game modes and the mechanics are different between them. They share the same name, but they're essentially three different games on three different platforms. It's an interesting little situation. But yes, there was in fact an NES version of that too. And yes, thank you for reminding me, as it were, Jezendar, for pointing that out. You are absolutely right. That actually was another one-on-one fighting game for the NES, and that was actually one that was released, outside of Japan, on an actual NES rather than just the Famicom. So that's a good one. But I didn't want to do multiple versions of TMNT. I'm going to do just the SNES version, just the one that I'm familiar with. But first, I feel, especially since I've got the same emulator open, I feel like I need to do Eternal Champions before that. Get that open while I set up. This game has fantastic art and animations. I wish the actual fighting mechanics and engine would be, up to the promise. Well, there's couple things that this game actually does incredibly well. I mean, read this. This is fantastic. Welcome to my chamber. I am the eternal champion, keeper of this vast fighting complex. It exists in a place and time corrupted by centuries of misuse and destruction. My purpose in this grand scheme is to maintain the balance between good and evil, light and darkness, hope and despair. Now this balance has been lost, and the very fabric that holds the world together will be torn apart. Your future, my present, has been destroyed by a cruel and Rewind. Excuse me. By a cruel and unjust twist of fate. 9 individuals from various periods in time were killed before their lives could affect this dark existence. I have observed each of their short lives and have been powerless to stop the chaos. I have spent the centuries harnessing my power for this very moment. I am the pure and untouched energy of all the great martial arts masters that have lived before me. Their skill, wisdom, knowledge, and inner strength are at my command. Even with the force of their collective powers, I can only reward one of the 9 individuals with the gift of life. Any of them can have an equally profound effect on the future. For this reason, the contest must take place. At the end of this contest, only one will remain. The victor will be returned to life a few seconds before his death, allowing him to avoid the past with the knowledge to change the future. Only one may live so that balance may again be achieved. Let the contest begin. One of the best designed plots for a fighting game. And check out the character designs. Looking at information here, the character biographies. This is like a short story here. These are some amazingly written tales here. This one's one of the best. Like, check this out here. Jonathan Blade, occupation bounty hunter, time zone 2030 AD, fighting style Kenpo, and it actually goes into a very nice description of the nature of that martial art. And, you know, and its mechanic, and it does that for each of the characters. And this is, I'm pretty sure that this game predates Wikipedia, don't quote me on that. But, oh man. Very, very well, intelligently written descriptions of the fighting styles. Man, this story though. Blade was one of the best cops that ever worked a beat. Born in Syria and raised in Africa, Blade was dedicated to the extreme, working some of the meanest parts of New Chicago. Blade had, however, one small problem: his temper. After nearly being killed several times by an elusive suspect, Blade finally caught him. The suspect once again tried to kill him, but Blade was able to sidestep the laser and grab the suspect. Being only human, Blade ran out of patience and proceeded to beat the suspect until he was near death. He survived and sued the police, who in turn fired Blade to hush the scandal. He ended up moving back to Syria to become a bounty hunter, making better use of his quick temper. His final case dealt with a rogue scientist who had escaped a government bioweapons lab with a vial containing a top-secret virus that would kill 95% of all human life. He was threatening to smash the vial open if the government didn't stop all bio-research. The Syrian government hired Blade to safely retrieve the vial. Blade agreed to do it if they didn't interfere. They agreed. He cornered the scientist in an alley and forced the scientist to agree to peacefully give up the vial. The government, however, had followed him and seized the moment to make their move. Shots from laser rifles filled the alley. The last image that Blade saw before he died was the smashed vial containing the virus. Anyone who knows me knows that that actually really tugs at one of my own greatest personal fears. So yeah, holy crap. A lot of the other character biographies are also really good. They put in amazing... Yeah, the storyline is just that intro again. They put an amazing amount of work into the background of this game, to the characters and whatnot. It's fantastic. I just wish that they had put more work into the actual game. The fighting. I never did finish with my marquee, did I? There we go. Yeah, it's just such an amazing amount of effort that they put in, but it's not really gonna. It isn't gonna pay off, I'm afraid. This character that he's up against here, Shadow, actually appears in a spin-off game, as it were, called X-Perts. X-Perts. And another character, a noir detective type character, is I can't remember it, but basically the plot of the game is that he was the winner of the tournament, and he ends up working with the police for a time, trying to bring down the criminal organization that had planned on blowing up the hospital, killing him and the police chief. And I am not doing well at all right now. This game has a very strange take on like the super meter bar. It's that yin-yang symbol you see there. Art of Fighting style, you can taunt and drain your opponent's energy, and it goes by extremely quickly. Yes, definitely a case of too much plot, not enough hitbox tweaking. I could not say that better myself. And it doesn't help one bit that the special moves are flaky as anything. It's just flakier than a toaster strudel. There we go. There's a clever reference. Yeah, so I really don't even need to play this anymore. I've actually already showed off everything that I wanted to show off about it. You can see it looks nice, and they put so much work into the character designs, the way that they look, the way that they move. Unfortunately, the actual fighting engine itself is pretty much rubbish. I was having decidedly more fun playing Joy Mecha Fight. So, yeah, that kind of says it all, really. As a matter of fact, I don't even feel like finishing this fight out. Well, maybe this round. Ugh, really? Now, yes, indeed. All that's missing is the Shay, right? And for some reason it just keeps repeating the fight over and over again. So, little something I learned about this game. I will not be demonstrating this, I'm simply telling you about it. The game essentially gives you unlimited continues, you just keep doing it over and over again. Until you get to the final boss. You get one shot at the final boss. If you fail, it's game over. Yeah. This rubbish game, right here, this one. As you can see, it plays kinda junky. Probably lots of continues to get through it, especially when you're first learning it, right? A lot of patience to get through all these fights in one sitting. And then you get to the final boss for the first time, and it gives you one chance. Hardest opponent in the game, and if you don't win, it just throws all your progress away. Yeah! I mean, I can't even So anyway, enough of that. uh, so Eternal Champions is going to go away now, and probably not come back. I have shown everything I want to show about this. I will be highlighting my Throwback Thursdays for posterity later on, as I'm basically treating this like almost like a television show in a sense. A little less formal than one, but still, it's like this is my weekly exposition, as it were. So yeah, there's going to be a record of this, and I have no need or interest in returning to Eternal Champions. But my word, the backstory, it's something beautiful. It's fantastic, fantastic stuff. So, I'm still probably going to save the SNES for later, for last, and do them basically all in one big block. So I'm not switching emulators around beyond a certain point. So that gives me a couple more to do before I dive into that. So the one that I'm going to do next, and I hope that I've got this set up right. Actually, you know what? No, in the interest of minimizing how often I'm switching my emulator around, the next one I'm going to do is actually going to be a PS1 title. Oh, Jesendar, I'm pretty sure that yeah, I'm pretty sure you get the one chance. I'm pretty sure they don't warn you of this in advance. It might be in the manual. No, I don't think it is. I actually looked at the manual. No, I think it's basically, yeah. I think it's just surprise. You're one and done if you don't do it. Um, so yeah, if for some strange reason you do feel compelled to try to play and finish Eternal Champions, might I recommend an emulator with save states? As a matter of fact, you might even want to specifically use BizHawk because it has rewinds. You may find that useful too. Yes, in case you were wondering how it was that I was getting the screen to scroll back up again as I was reading that, BizHawk has a rewind button that not all of its cores can use it. As a matter of fact, I think you'll see rewind disabled on the screen as I fire up the PS1 core for the next game I'm going to play. But yeah. So I'm going to give you all a slight heads up. Uh, Actually, I've totally changed my mind. I'm not. I'm just going to go ahead, dive right in, and show this one. uh, I do actually own this game. I do have a Japanese PS1. Um, I'll load it up first, and then I'll remind myself of the. Oops, lost my window there. Or I'll remind myself of the year when I get to the title screen. Oh, this is so obnoxious. Their names don't really match the. I should try to. This is so obnoxious. I think it's this one. I can fast forward through this. Yeah. I may or may not have loaded the wrong game. I'll find out in a moment. That is actually the wrong game. I can tell already. You can't see the evidence, but I can. Come on. Yes, there we go. That's the one. Oh man, I need a 98, okay. So, right. The Variable Geo series, or VG for short, this is an all-female fighting game. It has existed in several different versions, different forms, different computers, different platforms. There was an anime. As a matter of fact, I think you might be looking at... No, actually, I think this was original to the, Yeah, yeah, this series is a little infamous. Some of its incarnations are, shall we say, NSFW? This one... This one doesn't have anything excessively risque. At least nothing lewd, sexual in nature. Although I would still not be comfortable loading up story mode and showing some of the cutscenes from there. Actually, time attack mode should do nicely. Here's the Ryu of the game. Here's the Ken of the game. Here's the game's grappler character. Yun Kubuta here. I find the grapplers in a lot of fighting games to be extremely difficult to play. Jun is an amazing exception to that rule. She is actually quite playable and does a very fine job. Up against Tamao here, she is the Sakura of the game, shall we say. Refers to the lead protagonist, Yuka, as Senpai, and I think that's all I really need to tell you about that. Bang! Yes, there we go. Oof. Neko Roketu Panchi! Ugh. Yes, this game goes to great lengths to, yeah. They may as well have called this fan service the game, to some extent. Or at least cognizantly, intentionally avoiding it. I can't believe I haven't done a single super yet. Here we are. Yeah. You may have noticed that the characters actually start with full super meters, so the brutality can begin immediately. Ah! I don't remember her moves nearly as well as I would have thought I did. So, actually, I'm going to, abort this run here. Story mode, I think I actually do want to show off how that begins, come to think of it. That's right, this is a Japanese game. It uses circle for accept and cross to cancel. They never standardized that on the PlayStation, and it bugs me. It bugs me so much. In story mode, in this particular game... I need to get a drink, excuse me for just a second here. What you are seeing here are black and white clips from the actual Variable Geo anime. Yeah, if you were to get your hands on the DVD, this is what you would see, just in full color. The plot is that the characters are all waitresses. They are sponsored by their restaurant chains, and they fight for a grand prize. The thing is you know, it's like the equivalent of $1 million plus some high-valued real estate, and of course the title of being the most powerful waitress in the world. It makes it about as much sense as it sounds like it does. But yeah. Let's just say that there is a price if you enter and fail. Based on how much you fail. It's a striptease that you have to perform. And that's the anime being, shall we say, gentler than what some of the computer games have, and I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, that kind of says it all. I think I can... Yeah. I was originally not going to show that, I changed my mind. So in story mode, you play as Tamao, and you do face the opponents in a set order. You see it's fully voiced. The character designs are actually fantastic. Although they're all supposedly in waitress uniforms, which does kind of limit things somewhat, they did a very good job of putting some variety in. If there's a reason why some of the characters look similar, it's because they work at the same restaurant chain, the same outfits. That's just the way that works. Oh jeez, Otomedius. Oh man. Yeah, that game though. Yeah, one of the Otomedius games actually has achievements for clicking on the characters on screen. Yeah. And there's a surprisingly robust and fascinating plot line to the VG games. How the I think it's the Yahana Corporation. How they're trying to essentially resurrect their founder.
Round one. Fight.
Uh-oh. What happened? Oh, window lost focus. That's what happened. There we go. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. The fighting in this game, for something that you would think is just otherwise a quick, cheap, you know, cash grab things like, hey, we've got a fighting game with anime girls in it. No, this game is the real deal. This is very serious, very fluid, very deep fighting engine right here. This is definitely nice. This is the real deal right here. There was was it? No, Custom is the older one. There is one for the PC called VG Max, I think it is, which uses SD characters, super deformed. Think Puzzle Fighter or Pocket Fighter. How they made the little versions of the Capcom characters. Yeah, they did the same thing with the characters in this. Fantastic, very well playing game. They did just a fine job of it all. I would play more of that. It's a very enjoyable game, but kind of have to move on. And I'm also sort of afraid of what might actually come up. if I were to leave things running, I'm pretty sure that that particular version of the game, I mean, that did come out for, you know, the Sony PlayStation in Japan. That was a home console game, and I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be. If memory serves, there's nothing explicitly lewd in that, and some of the variable geo games very much do have that. As a matter of fact, eventually, they did stop making fighting games, but they did still make more VG games that are just sort of more straight up. What's the polite term? Visual novel? Yeah, they're hentai games. They are what they are. But the legacy of the series, where it got its start, and what the anime was based on, and there's always a fighting game tournament in the backdrop of these things anyway, but their actual fighting games are, especially so the later ones, this was one of the more recent ones in the list, extremely well done. Very solid fighters. Fantastic job. Oh, not that it relates to what's, Since the question was asked, Harmony of Despair, no, actually. The only I've played decidedly fewer Castlevania games than I should have. Some way, somehow, maybe because I got into the whole GBA thing relatively late to begin with. Yeah, I kind of missed all of that golden era, as it were. I have. Oh, wait a minute. Am I? Which one is? There are two Castlevania HDs by name. Oh, okay. All right. I forgot which one is Harmony of Dissonance and which one is Harmony of Despair. Yes, I do have Castlevania Harmony of Despair on the 360. I am actually quite fond of that. Great stuff. It does. There's a certain hollowness to it, but I love the whole, entire room. The level being expansive aspect to it. Zooming in and out. Bosses being able to attack you from halfway across the castle. I love the whole design that they put into the whole thing. I do wish there was a little more to it. But it's fun for what it is. I do enjoy that. I have spent a lot of time playing it. I could spend a lot more time playing it. That is fine. Okay. I have been looking forward to showing this one off. I will be closing BizHawk now. I've got nothing more for it. And I am opening up DOSBox, and that alone, I'm hoping, would be enough to... well, actually, to be fair, there were some interesting, and actually not sucky, one-on-one fighting games for the PC. Songo Fighter, in particular, comes to mind. But the one that I want to show off... One Must Fall. Oh, man. This game, though. Oh yeah, DOS box. I definitely need Joy to Key open for this. Although I don't know. Actually, I might have a, no, I don't. Okay. So I'll have to go into this here. Probably have to... I shouldn't have to do any of that. But, no, I don't want to do that. No. I guess, set up the controls inside the game. The music is fantastic. Oh, I've been having troubles of that nature too, Jesendar. Energizer Kitty and I actually did simultaneous runs of Streets of Rage 2 earlier today, and I was waiting for him to start, and it seemed like it was taking so long. I decided to refresh the page, and they were already on stage 2. I was like, ugh. So yeah, Twitch seems to be a bit laggish today for some reason. Yes, I had this game down to a science back in the day. I was able to, on the highest difficulty level, beat everybody without losing a round. I knew where all the secret bosses were, I faced them. I played this game for high score, and it's fantastic. And I have been meaning to get back into this game for so long. I've really been looking forward to this moment. So, firing the game up again after so long. And the best thing about it is that there are 2 play modes to this. And both are fantastic. They both have their own things. It's amazing, amazing stuff. But the first thing I need to do... Well, the first thing I need to do is give this window focus again. Definitely going to have to go into the keyboard. Alright, so we've got arrow keys, Z and X. Perfect. I am going to copy. I need just a moment here in order to set up a profile in Joy to Key, so that I may play this game. The pad. 2-button fighter, again, it's just a punch and a kick, but you still have the light, medium, and heavy that you might be used to from Street Fighter 2. What they did was, they essentially made even the standard moves like command normals, if you know the parlance. Essentially, you get a quick attack if you're holding forward, a medium attack if the joystick is neutral, and a heavy attack if you're holding away. Very simple, and it works wonders. It works incredibly well. They did such an amazing job of designing this game, and it plays really, really well. I mean, just listen to it. You hear that music? Yeah, it's great. And I don't know if there's going to be anything that'll come up to reveal its story, but if you go through its manual and whatnot, it talks about how these robots were essentially designed as a means of being able to put all violence in humanity aside. These robots have pilots, but not actually inside them. They are controlled through a neural uplink of sorts. Yeah, the robots are, just straight up metal. There's nobody actually in them. So, yeah, no one's getting hurt. Essentially, you know, war has ceased to exist, and this has become the sport of the future. And there's quite a few interesting little things going on behind the scenes. One of the characters might actually be an alien. There's some fantastic little designs going on here, and I barely remember half of it, but it's fantastic stuff. So let's see, Z is punch and X is kick, huh? Alright, so I want this button to be punch, that would be Z. And I want this button to be kick, that would be X. Okay. Just switch back to this window. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. I've barely played. I sort of knew that there was a version of Street Fighter Alpha for the Game Boy Advance. Actually, it came up in one of Ashen's videos. But yeah, I haven't actually really played it myself. There we go. Yeah. There's normal and hyper modes. You can set the game speed however you like. You can make it go turbo or slow it to a tactical crawl. Leave it on its default. Normal basically feels like your typical fighting game. Hyper makes yeah, the special moves in particular enhanced, a little harder to deal with, a little less Street Fighter 2 and a little more Power Instinct. I think I'll put it that way. You can adjust, and this doesn't work against the AI. This only affects you know, 2-player matches. This is your handicap setting right there. Arena hazards by default are on. You can turn them on or off. So here's so many difficulty levels, and the score that you earn is factored in to the difficulty that you choose here. They thought of that. They did a fantastic job. If you ever want to play a good fighting game for score, well, I've mentioned Breakers and how well that works. This one might even work a little better. Well, you still have the whole straight thing, but as you'll see as I go along, the things that you earn points for, yeah, it's extremely well designed. Yeah, Punching Bag, Rookie, Veteran, World Class, Champion, Deadly, Ultimate. Ultimate is not the highest difficulty level. Keep mashing right. No? Did I already unlock it? Oh, there we go, yeah. It has actually stopped at Deadly. You have to keep... How many of them are there? Yeah, there it is. Okay. Normally it stops at Champion. You have to... It's actually sort of a little bit of a code. If you keep mashing right to try to increase the difficulty even further, it will eventually switch to Deadly. I love this. If you want to play Ultimate difficulty, it's almost like a code, and I'm going to tell you what this is. I actually like this. You have to press right while you're holding in the O, M, and F keys on the keyboard, the initials of the game. When you let go of them, it switches to Ultimate. That's right, it actually remembered that before. I thought I had to change it to that, but no, that's what I had it on already. So, choosing one-player game, you get to, so this is your typical arcade-style play here. And, notably, there's 10 pilots and 10 robots, and you can take any pairing of these that you like. Now, a lot of games, it's like the pilot is just some afterthought. No, the moves are based on the robot, but the stats, how hard they hit, how fast they move, how much health they have, that's all dependent on the pilot you choose. So there's actually 100 different combinations here. You can really sort of, you know, you mix and match, you organize things the way that you can set things up here. And it actually gives you a little tidbit about the nature of the characters here. They did a damn fine job with this. Do I want to play as Crystal or Angel? I'll play as Crystal. I'm probably only going to do like a fight or two anyway. And then I'll show you the other mode. Forced to fend for herself after her parents' mysterious death, Crystal's determination has earned great respect. Yep, and here are the robots. Interesting designs. You can see that they were all essentially ray traced, and then set into sprites. Some fascinating designs there. The characters. I know there's a way of changing the robot's palette. I don't remember it, but I know it's there. Ah, yes, that's right. Christian's your brother. I am skilled enough to face any danger, brother. If you can defeat me, I might believe you. Yeah, you can see the robots, you know, people looking over them, so you get a sense of the scale.
Round 1. Fight.
Ooh. I left it on damn. Did I leave it on hyper, or did I put it back on normal? It's still on hyper. I can steer my shots down. Yeah, I can steer. I can. Yeah, in hyper mode, his shots can be steered. It's slowed down to a crawl. Ooh, that's. That might not have been the wisest approach. Yeah, you can stop that right now. Did I leave the speed a little slow? Maybe I should turn. Oh, I should turn that back up again. Oh, damn. I took a hit. But you see, the game kept track of how many times I hit the opponent before it hit me, and I got a really nice score bonus for it. There we go. Yeah, it is actually running slow right now. Let me,
Round 2. Fight.
Let me see if I can figure out how to abort the, match, as it were. There we go. Oh! I know why it's running so slow. Silly me. Give me just a second. Let me actually, I'm going to reload the game completely. I have DOSBox set by default to... Why is this not... There we go. I have DOSBox by default set to a certain number of CPU cycles, which is actually pretty low. And the reason why is because if I have it set to anything higher, Pinball Fantasies will crash. And I spend more time playing Pinball Fantasies through DOSBox than I do anything else. So by default I do that. Generally speaking, anything else I play in DOSBox, I double its speed. So yeah, that's why it was running so slow. My mistake. I totally forgot about that. Let's get this back up and running again. Yeah, it feels less sluggish already. Probably want to leave that on, set that to normal too. Don't stand in my way. I must be victorious. Get used to disappointment. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. Yeah, it's unfortunate that the speed is CPU dependent. You can make that a 4-hit combo if you do it fast enough, but yeah, I'm a little out of practice. Oh, I've been dizzied! No! Oh, man! Forgot how much I loved this game. Oh! Ooh! Right off the bat. There we go. Nope. That did not play out the way I wanted it to. Yeah, so the red bar is your health gauge. The gray one below that is essentially your stun meter. Yes, the robots of course don't feel pain, but the way that the neural uplink works is that when the robot gets hit, yeah, the person feels it. No actual damage can be done, but yeah, you still feel the pain, so yeah, the robots will actually get dizzy. There we go. It's coming back to me now. Perfect round. There we go. And I love these news eaters here. Crystal showed incredible abilities with the Jaguar as Shiro became little more than a punching bag. This one, as well as other outstanding hits, sent Shiro back to the shop for a while. Yeah, you can see all the little work that they put into it here. The character, the way that, you know, you get these frame capture replays and whatnot. And some of the dialogue, the news guy says he has quite a few lines, actually, based on how well you do and whatnot. Fantastic stuff. Oh. I can make you talk just right. This is the fire pit. Okay. The game has... I do not remember how to do these, but the game does have something akin to overkills. Where essentially you will render the opponent's robot scrap after the fight. Yes. And there are certain special commands that you can input, as it were, to make that happen. It's after you've been declared as the winner. And if you do that on this stage in particular, see how the bottom is a grating, you break the grating and hop through and face a hidden boss called Fire. And that boss also has a grating on his floor. You do the same thing, beating Fire, and then you get to face Ice. And you get score multipliers against those two. It's huge. This little red ball that you see floating around, if you attack it, it causes a flame to shoot out of the ground up underneath the opponent. Arena hazard. Yeah, I unfortunately... Oh, wait! Ah! Yeah, well, I got something to come out. I don't remember the commands, but I did manage something. I think what you basically saw was the first half, the scrap. I think there's a second half where you actually destroy them completely, an overkill, and then you can leap in. I forget the commands. I promise you, I guarantee you, I will be playing this game a heck of a lot more on stream. Because I am totally getting back into it now, and I used to be able to get 9-digit scores in this, and I want to relearn how to do that. I really want to dive back into this game. You will be seeing more One Must Fall. Crystal was looking good this evening. Her Jaguar left the stadium with only a few scars from her overmatched opponent. Jean-Paul showed some pretty pathetic fighting skills, and Crystal took advantage of it. Just look at this hit. You knew my father. What happened to him? Dead no longer matter. My victory is all that is important.
Round 1. Fight.
Yeah, this is the live wire spot here. love the little graphics image that they put on the side walls there. The fighter jets add some interesting flavor, as they can't actually damage the robots with those, you know, gun blasts as they go. Ow! Ugh! You can back off right now. Ooh! Oops! Damn! Oh! Die! Oh! Fair enough. Fair enough. This game, yeah, I have. I wonder if I can find it.
Fight.
Yeah, escape pauses. Give me just a few seconds here. Well, that was unnecessarily risky. I actually don't think I've shown this on camera yet. This is my old logbook here. This old, I guess they call it an engineer's notebook. Well, you know, the pages are all graph paper. I have maps on these pages from lots of different games, mostly NES stuff. Lots of annotations. Here's a map from the first level of The Magic of Scheherazade for the NES. Fantastic stuff there. Ultima Exodus. Holy crap! I've done lots and lots for that. Here are a couple of mazes from the Moon Dungeon. But tucked into the back pages of this here, all sorts of facts, guides, other things printed out, information on games, some of my favorite historical Master of Orion 2 races and whatnot. The map for the old Atari 2600 Pitfall. Actually, I had the Intellivision version. The same map. But the reason I have pulled this out is that I have in here somewhere a FAQ. Here it is. Yes. One Must Fall 2097. You can see the ASCII art of a robot there. Barely. I printed this out, 2 columns, 6-point font, and it is like 10 pages. Eight, 9, 10, 11. Pages sticking. Well, 13. Yes. Printed in a reasonable font for, you know, people who don't have 2010 vision. Yeah. This is like a novella. And, it just goes to show how in-depth this game is and how well designed it is. That the guide is that, you know, thorough. There's that much to say about the game. Fantastic, fantastic stuff. And it would not surprise me at all if that link is actually to this very same guide that I just showed you. As a matter of fact, I feel compelled to look. Actually, no! No, it isn't. It is a different guide. But this one probably is on that site. It's the M. Williams guide, is it? Yes, it is. Matt Williams. Yeah, fantastic, fantastic stuff. But I need to actually quit this because I have to show you the game's other mode. Yeah, that's your arcade for score time attack mode right there. Give me just a second here. Things will hiccup for a brief moment. Okay. I said they would hiccup for a brief moment. That can stop now. There we go. Right, I have to show you tournament play. Now, so yeah, holy crap. The one and only pilot on file is already loaded. Ooh, really now? Huh. I must have, lost my save files for this recently, or cleared it out or something. Let me check the scoreboard real quick. Well, that score is still sitting there. That's good to know. Oh yeah, and the scoreboard actually adjusts based on your groups there. Oh. Likes to skip around, unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, it keeps track of a separate scoreboard for 1 round wins, best out of 3, best out of 5, best out of 7. So what tournament play does, and I will just go ahead and start a new one here. Oh wait, that's actually not what I want. This here is sort of almost like a role-playing campaign mode. You play in various tournaments, you fight for money, you get to spend it to either train yourself as the pilot to improve your abilities there, or to enhance your robot. There are, you advance through the tournaments, you win them, you make it to, the World Championship. Yeah, it actually becomes a nice long campaign rather than just an arcade-style fighter. And it adds so much to it. As a matter of fact, if you do particularly well, there's some secret fights that you get into. You get challenged to participate in private battles and win those, and you get special enhancements that you can then use for the other tournaments while you're in this mode. The Jaguar in particular gains the ability to shoot out multiple projectiles. Rather than just shooting that one beam, it'll automatically shoot out 2, one right after the other, and later on 3. It's great stuff. There's also, I couldn't find the option for it. But I'll come back to that. Type that in for now. Yes, I do. There are 4 different, portraits, as it were, you can use for your custom fighter. And yeah. I have been told by more than one person, myself included, that this portrait looks an awful lot like me. Or at least that it used to. That at least I used to look quite a bit more like him. It's almost a little scary, actually. But yeah, as you can see just by looking at the screen here right now, you can see you've got money, you've got the pilot stats, power, agility, endurance, and all those little boxes are showing, how you can level it up. Attack power, arms and legs on the robot. Yeah, even attack speed is listed here. So, yeah, you can build up the robot to fit your style of play. Vlad Ironside's Aerobic and Shock Resilience Workshop. boost your pilot's endurance. Let's just enter the arena to start this. So you made it this far, eh? Can't wait to grab another victory from you. You do face the original, you do face the 10 pilots from arcade mode, but there are also decidedly more that you can face in a few guest characters. For example, Jazz Jackrabbit is one of the pilots. This was released by Epic Mega Games.
Ready. Fight.
Here, you always play just a single round. Losses aren't so bad. Ooh, darn. Pretty sure the money you earn is based on your score. Ow, what the? There we go. Plain White Bread, welcome. Yes, this game is amazing, and I am definitely going to be getting back into it, playing quite a bit more of it. Ow! Oh, ah! No. That was a little overly aggressive of me there. Whew, cassette really tore into Zottmeister. Zottmeister should probably take that Jaguar back to the training field. All I can say to Zottmeister is get some practice. That Jaguar won't win without your... And I will. And I will. Yes, and there's the guy in charge of repairs. Yeah, he has a few things to say. Trying to keep my boys busy, eh? Yeah, you can see the, I didn't get the winnings, but I did earn some points. I got some money that way, but yeah, the repair cost goes against it. Oh! Marquis! Oh no! Damn it! Ah! How could I have... Ah! Can't believe I'm still doing that every now and then. Gah! Oh! I think they're... The company name's Diversions Entertainment. Oh, shame on me. For shame. The shame of it all! The shame! Tempting as it is to put 2097 in for the year, I do actually want to be accurate here. And when you quit out of the game, it actually gives you credits. This game was essentially made by 2 people. That's one of the best parts about it. This is a classic, old school, small team project. 2 brothers designed the vast majority of this game. Some elements of the sound were from yeah, musician. Yeah, other individuals were involved, but the bulk work of this game was done by all of 2 people, 2 brothers. For just $10, you can get the strategy guide. Yes, Epic Mega Games. Jazz Jackrabbit. Extreme Pinball, which is probably the most famous of the Epic games from the era. A little bit of talking about the game. Yes, this is one of the few shareware games that I actually registered back in the day. I actually put... Oh, yes! How could I... I almost forgot about this. Gotta be right here somewhere. Has to be. This might take a moment. Oh man. Oh, By the way, I will not be playing this tonight. Sorry to disappoint you. So much easier if I could remember what dimensions the menu are. Nope. I'm going to do this. Already mucked up enough tonight, so who cares? Take my time, and I'm gonna show this off because I frickin' can. Yes. There it is. Look at this thing of beauty right here. Look at that. Look at it. Let me put the rest of this away. How did I have all this? There we go. Uno momento. That goes between this is. Thus. Yes. 1994. I'll just look it up off the manual. There we go. Yes. One Must Fall 2097 by Diversions Entertainment. Yes, I actually registered this game, registered the shareware, ordered the disc and everything, and yes, it actually came with a manual. Yes. As a matter of fact, it even says right here in the manual, not that you'd be able to read it through my webcam here, but this line up here at the top reads, "Enjoy this manual. Give it to your friends. Put it in your birdcage." Yeah. A note on graphic violence. Diversions Entertainment is devoted to bringing non-violent PC entertainment to the public. Non-violent is in all caps. While you cannot have a fight game without some measure of violence, we are hoping to show that a game with little shock value is still accepted by the consumer. We want to prove that playability is more important to you than simply slapping a few characters onto a screen and putting the words blood, deadly, or violence in the title. As the one with the checkbook, you will be the judge. And this game was incredibly successful back in the day. Incredible. This game did extremely well. It still has a cult following today, which isn't nearly large enough. Yeah, it's just fantastic, fantastic stuff. Yeah, the controls, detailing how the direction you hold in the joystick affects the move you get. Yeah, it is great, great stuff. But wait! One high score screen not enough for you? We give you 4 at no additional cost! Oh man, the lost art of the computer game manual. Oh, such fantastic stuff here. The fire pit. Yeah, a listing of the arenas in here. This is, yeah, they did so much for this game, put so much work into it, and it really shows. And it plays so well. It's just so much fun. Troubleshooting. Question. I type OMF and all I get is some burritos on the screen? Answer. Make sure you are in the directory containing the One Must Fall program. More likely you just ran oily Mexican food instead. Yeah. Okay, you ready for this? Little historical dig here. Question. What is the blood code? Answer. I believe you're either referring to a code to allow blood in the game, or you're wanting to know some pre-med question. The blood code in OMF is back, back, round, in, out, left, high, punch, right, needed, head. Come on now, these are robots fighting. There is no blood. You want that little black system with the hedgehog. Sorry. I forgot all about that. Yeah, so, yeah, back in the day, sometimes when you ordered something through shareware, you actually got, like, physical stuff. And this book right here is probably stupid rare. I should probably be really, very gentle with this thing. That right up there. Oh, man. Yes, they went there. My stepfather is a cancer survivor, and I'm a shadow dragon survivor. And everybody laughs. He went there. That's right, I went there. Oh, I have to. I have to fire it back up again. Now that the marquee actually reads correctly. Oh, all that music though. Oh. Go back into tournament play mode here. Yes, you can swap around your Oh, Sireture, I don't even I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah, definitely need more money before I oh yes, here we go. We can actually change the colors through here. I like to do just about every fighting game that has a color option. There's a certain scheme I tend to set up. Doesn't seem to be any real deep green color here, does there? Well, I suppose something goldish will work. I would rather... Yeah, there's a decided lack of greens. The closest we have is sort of that mint color. Well, let me make the main body color black. There we go. I should not be spending so much time doing this. That'll work. Register for a new tournament now. Let's just do a simple arena fight here.
Ready. Fight.
Ugh. Ow! Oh. Yes. Someone isn't taking much damage, are they? Ugh. Uh-oh. Damn.
You lose.
My. Who had control of that Jaguar? Oh, it was Zopmeister. Well, I have some advice for you, Zopmeister. Duck, block, dodge, call in sick, do something other than take hit after hit from that Kronos. I'm lucky I like my work more than my wife. I lost money on that one. Did I accidentally set things to the World Championship? Is that what I did? I have to spend time working as a mechanic to earn enough money for this tournament. Are you sure you want to enter North America? Hold on a second. Something here is weird, isn't it? Let me go ahead and restart this real quick here. There we go. Yeah, I didn't even get this far last time. Yeah, something weird was going on there. Had things a little mixed up. I didn't even pick the difficulty setting. Yeah. Aluminum iron, steel, heavy metal are the difficulty levels here. Heavy metal, of course. Yeah, and I will definitely start with the North American Open. Thank you very much. Yeah, I must have mucked up something. Controls there. This is where let me just get the body color to black. I'm actually gonna leave the others as they sit. That's fine. Welcome to Northam. You'd better be prepared.
Ready. Fight.
The Shadow is one of the more fascinating and unique bot designs in the game. Ugh. Damn. If it seems like the game is running a little slow, that's actually because that's what happens at the start of tournament mode. Low-powered robots, they don't move very quickly. So the game is actually at a slower pace, so it's easier to learn. I do still have the game on its highest difficulty setting for this mode, though. Here we go. Probably should have tried the old 4-hit combo there. Ugh. So. Haha. Oh, I am definitely a fan of the Jaguar. I don't remember the overkill move. Damn. I've messed around with the others, but the Jaguar has always been my go-to. Zontmeister was looking good this evening. His Jaguar left the stadium with only a few scars from the match. Oh, he's actually said that one already. Darn. There's this one line that the announcer uses. Part of it is one-sided masochistic pouncing. That's actually my favorite line there. Whoa, you've been studying some of my old fights in the Hollow Library, haven't you? You may have some talent, kid. So that's more like it. That's how things should actually look. And, yeah, and now I can actually, for example, speed up the kicks or the arm attacks here. By an arm speed upgrade. And some stun resistance. I'll do one more. Just listen to those fans. You know, you can quit now and save the embarrassment.
Ready.
Up against another Jaguar. Ugh. Yeah, that rising attack there is punch-based, so, figured I would upgrade punch that, and it makes it easier to get that extra hit in on my little jump in rising attack combo there. Oh, damn! Nope. I'm gonna pay for that one. Oh, darn. Fucked it up. Yeah, it's actually possible to squeeze in a quick light punch between a jump kick and that rising attack. Ugh. Put in for stun resistance too. Ugh. Yeah, I asked for that. Of course, so did he. Yeah, so in tournament the battles actually start relatively slow and simple, but it gets very, very impressive once the robots have gotten upgraded. So it's a nice learning curve, and I actually do recommend playing this game on heavy metal difficulty if you want to try to give tournament mode a run, as I feel like you're shortchanging yourself otherwise. And a throw for the finish.
You win.
I don't remember it. I'll have to look it up. Yeah, I had forgotten so much about this game. Slotmeister and Stefan were evenly matched. The Jaguar of Stefan will spend some time in the shop tonight. These two fought practically blow for blow until Zotmeister finally nailed Stefan with this well-timed shot. Unfortunately, when you finish them off with a throw, the image is a little less than impressive. But oh well. You've got to learn some defense, or you always get beat up like this. Nice little advice that it gives you. But yeah, that's enough of that. I will just, yeah, I'll just put that on camera again. One more time. As a little reminder to myself of how good I used to be at this game. And I'm sure I can do better than that too. But it'll probably take me a long time to get back up to that level. But yes, fantastic game. One of the best of the era. I spent a very long time on that game, and I do not regret that in the slightest. I am quite happy to have been able to especially feature that one. There was a sequel. Dimensions? Is that what it was called? One Must Fall Dimensions? That actually does have a 3D engine. It was designed to be net playable from the ground up. I don't know how well that game ended up doing, but given that Diversion's Entertainment ceased to exist not too long after it came out, if I recall correctly, apparently not so well. It's unfortunate. I think I actually did end up getting a copy of it at some point, but I haven't actually played it, so I don't know if that's any good or not. But yeah, One Must Fall 2097, the original here, is just amazing, amazing stuff. For completion's sake, if nothing else, there is actually one other thing I want to do here. Oh, so this runs a little fast, apparently. And I know it had sound. Yeah, what you just saw was, One Must Fall before One Must Fall 2097. This was the, little something happened to have kicking around. Yeah, that was essentially their tech demo. Which is, I know that used to run with sound. As a matter of fact, it actually begins with the announcer saying, "One must fall." An expression which is actually not present in One Must Fall 2097. But yeah, that was the original version of the game, so to speak. The tech demo, as it were, the pre-release, and it's just those two characters, special moves and whatnot. I just basically wanted to show off that existed, and I'm not sure why it ended up not running so well, but I'll look into that later. But yeah, that was just a quick little extra thing I wanted to show off while I had that there. So I think it's about time that I braved the SNES library, and I guess I'm going to be going through some of these a little faster than I otherwise would have hoped to, but I'll still be able to show off 3 or 4 of them. Yeah, it has been close to 2 hours now. Actually, I think it's been slightly more than 2 hours, but then again, I've also been doing a lot more exposition and a lot less gaming anyhow, so I'm a little less in need of the break. So I will, A, remember to change my marquee this time, and B, move on to something that I hope is going to work, and work well, because this is the first time I've streamed with this emulator. And again, I mentioned this earlier on. I do apologize in advance. Oh, let me get the mouse cursor out of there. Yeah. I apologize in advance if the graphics look a little wonky, like there's something wrong with the scaling, because for all intents and purposes, there is. This emulator is kind of it's new. It hasn't worked out the kinks yet, and it has absolutely no filtering option whatsoever. And it is not... It apparently likes to pause when it doesn't have focus. Oh well. That's gonna make things interesting. Let me wait for the cute little Mode 7 intro to finish here. Oh, I'm gonna be turning the volume down on that one. Yeah. Maybe there? We'll see. Yes, Renovation, 1992. Okay. So, for those who like cult one-on-one fighting games, Doomsday Warrior adds something to the mix that is very unusual. Nice music. Yeah, look at that. Well, let me get this shindig started out properly. Come on, work with me here. There we are. So you've got... this is unfortunately one of those games that has a block button. It's up on the bumper. Let's try to remember that it's frickin' there. Gotta love these little character sprites they have here. Here we go. Now, you can play as any of these 7 characters. We got some weird ones here. You've got your... calling them Ryu and Ken isn't exactly fair, but yeah, they're pretty much close to palette swaps of one another. Sledge and Laban. This, yeah. Daisy, who is a humanoid plant. She's apparently equal parts flora and fauna. I'm not even gonna say his name, that pretty much says it all, doesn't it? Yeah, you're... Anyone else think the 7th Saga when they see this guy? Can't really put my finger on it. And then we have, perhaps the most memorable character of the game, New Form, Liquid Metal. But I will be playing as Daisy, mainly due to familiarity. And the game lets you choose what order you face your opponents in. And this actually ends up being interesting. Their AI, their difficulty, will not change based on your selection. But I do believe that their stats actually might. I think the later you face someone, the tougher they might get, but the tougher you get as well, and I will show off what that means in a bit. But first, I need to actually fight somebody, and I will fight Laban. If I find the right button. It's Daisy, Dancing Plant versus Laban, Military Deserter. Now, This game does not have super moves. As a matter of fact, each character only has one special move, and it's usually a charge move. Although, the longer you charge it up, block button, Adam, and jump button too, the longer you charge it up for, the more powerful it is, and the greater its range is. You can actually heal if you stay away, keep getting damage for a while. That goes for both you and the enemy. But those 4 blocks of health that you see up there, once one is emptied completely, it can't be refilled. So you can refill lost health, but only to a point. Yeah, so Daisy has this one attack. Laban, I think, might actually have 2. Oh yeah, she does have that flip kick as well, come to think of it. Which is almost an anti-air, I guess. At least it's a guaranteed knockdown. But the real thing about this game, when it comes to its visual presentation, the backgrounds look a lot nicer than the character sprites. And the music is okay. But yeah, the throws in this game, oh, come on. I totally should have had it there. Give it to me. Don't be like this. There we go. Throws in this game are stupidly powerful, and they look awesome. Oh, come on. I do not want to lose that health block. Ah, crap. That's unfortunate. At this rate, I might even lose this fight. That's not good. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, you only play a single round, but as you can see, it tends to last a little while. So, when you're playing this game single player, there's actually sort of a, statistical RPG element to it anyway. It's no actual role-playing. But yes, how many bonus points you get is dependent on how much life you had left at the end of the previous match. If I was still on my first health block, if it hadn't emptied completely, I would get 4 bonus points to spend here. And I can decide how to assign it to improve the character. She kicks a lot, so building up leg power tends to work really well. It's not a straight one-to-one correspondence either, and it depends on the character. If I were to put that point into soul power, it would do absolutely nothing. You can see it still says 0 at the end. But after, I think it like jumps up to 3 after I put 3 or 4 points in it, something like that. Might only be 2. I'm trying to remember. I think it is 3 though. So it's not a linear scale. It actually depends on the character. Yeah, so you can improve the character, again, customize them the way that you see fit to decide your strategies. If you play the game on easy mode, you start with 2 points in every category. But the game will not give you passwords, so you cannot actually retain your progress from run to run. You'd have to finish the game in one sitting. Hacking your way through normal mode, it actually gives you passwords so that you can essentially keep tweaking, customizing, try to actually max out your character. Actually, that's not even mathematically possible, is it? Because there are only 6 fights. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that after you face the other 6 basic opponents, I don't think you come back here for more bonus points once you're up against the bosses. I might be mistaken though. Yeah, and that actually makes your choice of what order you face the opponents in a tactical one. You might want to face easier opponents early on, ones that you can beat without losing a lot of life, to get bigger stat boosts to go after the tougher opponents. I'm only going to do one more fight, and it has to be against new form, so you can see how awesome this guy is. Yeah, people who have played Doomsday Warrior, it has a lasting sort of subconscious effect on them. When it comes to throwing in other fighting games, they tend to emphasize it way too much. I'm very consciously a victim of this. this. I know this. Ah! Yes, New Form's throw is all with chili! And he gets all sort of blobbish, long-range reach on him. Yeah, New Form is a, he's a piece of work. Yeah, his jump attacks, he can become a spike, or, you know, that big crescent blade, or just a big old weight. I love the way he appears to have his hands to his sides when he does the spike. He's just like, yeah. I'm the man. Oof. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, New Form is one of the tougher customers in the game. Ah. Ow! Stop it. Hardest part about this game, really, is if you've been playing like any other fighting games, and you're used to jumping or blocking with the joystick, yeah, this one will mess you up. You have a jump button and a block button. You're just gonna have to get used to it. And I love this neat little animation they have. Tiny little sledge and Laban sprites just punching and kicking each other randomly, going along the bottom there. And there's the boss taunting you. You'd better give up for your own good. Not me, you just wait and see is continuing, of course. Or yeah, I give up, I'm sorry. And it does remind you of what your last password is if you didn't think you needed to write it down for whatever reason. Yeah, this game, all in all, it's not the best of fighting games. It's not the most solid. But it's very memorable, and it plays really well, and it has some very unique elements that not a lot of other games really take advantage of. This is a game that I had back in the day. After having rented it and enjoyed it, I managed to scrounge up a copy and bought it. At one point, I ended up selling it back, mainly to be able to afford my Neo Geo. But fairly recently, within just like the last year or two, I managed to get another copy of it back, and yeah, it's not as good as I remember, but it is actually still a lot of fun, and what it really brings to the table, its unique elements, it's good stuff. It really is. Okay. The next... Oh, that makes no difference. Okay. So the next one, this is actually running pretty well. I haven't had any encoding overloads. Yeah, this is working. I just wish it looked better, but hopefully that's something they'll fix in the future. So the next one I want to show off. If you were around for any of my arcade streams where I played the game Paradise, the shooter with the pig from Budasan in it, before you face the first boss, there's this marquee-like image that comes up, like a poster or something, that says, "Are you tough enough?" And I mentioned that is actually a fighting game on the SNES from the same company, from Jalico. And that it was really weird that it was a Tough Enough poster rather than a Dead Dance poster, because that's what the game is actually called in Japan. It was weird that they showed the US box art in the graphics of the Japanese game. I just thought that was a really, really curious thing. But at any rate, there's another thing that this emulator could really, really fix. I have to bust open these zip files. I can't just leave them as they sit. It's kind of obnoxious, really. Where is it? Here we go. There we go. Now I can open this thing. Yeah, Jellicoe, Jellicoe just kept trying to make good SNES games. And with this one, they almost succeeded. Oh, what the hell, I will read this. You know, I never did get that drink that I said I needed sometime. Oh, I did take a sip of something. And I'd take a sip of another something. In 2101, war was beginning. Okay. In the year 2151, the war to end all wars broke out. That war nearly destroyed the entire planet. The Earth became a barren and desolate place where only the strongest would survive. During this crazy time, a man came into power who called himself Jade, the Fighting King. The Fighting King built a huge tower in the city to show off his great strength. As time went by, the power and reputation of the Fighting King grew. Many fighters tried to defeat the king, but none came back. Yeah, Jellicoe, they just never gave up. Everyone was beginning to give up hope that the king would ever be defeated, until a tournament was called. I'm sorry. The champions of the remaining 4 great states were chosen to challenge the Jade King. With the 4 color-encoded champions decided, they headed off through the desolate lands towards the Great Tower. This is where we pick up the story. Only you can hope to save the world from fading into utter chaos. I have no idea what came over me. Sorry about that. This game is actually pretty solid. The fighting engine works pretty well. Again, you've got, you know, relatively small character sprites, and they're up surprisingly high on the screen. But this game actually does things like the special moves and whatnot decidedly better than, well, say, Doomsday Warrior. Yeah, you can see the default high score table names there are titles of other Jellicoe console games. Oh, bloody hell! Thank you, Sirecher. What is with me tonight? I'm doing it again! Although typing in that obnoxious piece of, that title is something fierce, though. Meow. 93. Okay. Ah, why am I doing that again? Here you've got your, your typical control scheme: 2 punches, 2 kicks. You know, as you would see on, say, the Neo Geo. And you do jump and block with the joystick, so this is going to feel more correctly, as it were. Tetris Plus, yes, Jellicoe did in fact do the do that release there. Syo, Zazie, Kotono, Forts. This game does a curious little thing that, after every 3 fights, your special moves get powered up. Music is fantastic. Great themes there. One thing that this game does right that a lot of fighting games don't: the sense of impact. The way it feels when hits land, you know, on the characters. Oops. Damn. The way that the animations are lagged slightly, it just gives the game something of a visceral feel. And I am doing incredibly poorly here. Yeah, unfortunately, Kotono is a charge character, which is generally not my cup of tea. Here we go. Ah. Yes, I'm obviously against the Ryu of the game. In case that weren't already painfully obvious. And I'm playing as the game's Guile. Come on. Yes, there we go. No time bonus in this game, curiously enough. Only a life bonus. So you're definitely encouraged to basically not get hit. Yes, the Jellicoe logo has changed. Since the SNES days. Ow! Jellicoe made some great arcade games, but for some reason, their home console titles usually seemed to be missing something. Yeah, you'll be seeing a little bit more of that when I get to the second half, as it were. Oh yeah! Built-in replay for the last few moments of the match there. You can rewind it, watch it again. And as a matter of fact, you even can do slow motion, base buttons, frame advance, so you can see exactly how the fight ended. Yeah, so your first 3 opponents will always be the other 3 characters you could have chosen from in story mode. And you essentially become empowered there and you start facing the bosses. I want to say this game has 10 stages? So there's 6 more characters that you go against. I think you actually can play as them in Versus mode. But yeah, story mode you're limited to just the 4. And then only the final boss you get to actually face at maximum power. And you kinda need it. Yeah, this game also takes a whole post-apocalyptic feel to it. Kind of the same job as Doomsday Warrior. Who did better in the backdrops and whatnot, I will leave as I will leave the viewer to derive their own opinion. Ooh. Yeah, Kotono has surprising range on some of her attacks. That's just her standing strong punch reaches out that far. Ow. There are really only 2 other things I want to show off about this game before I can move on, and I'll probably yeah, I'll probably just do one more after this. Do a little bit of TMNT Tournament Fighters. Not that I really need to. Actually, you know what? I think I won't do that. And the reason why is because I think I'm going to do that game instead on a different night with a different theme. That and it has actually already gotten quite a bit later than I otherwise would have expected. I did get to a late start, I knew that, but yeah, I kind of like One Must Fall 2097. It was hard to not dive in more thoroughly to that. So this game does actually play better than Doomsday Warriors. Why did I pluralize it? Doomsday Warrior does. So I don't mind spending more time on this one. Come on. That, and I do actually have to finish the first 3 fights before I can show you the, Oh, damn. At least the first level of the special moves powering up. Ugh. Man, you know, her strong kick rising attack, it'll hit someone way up high, but if you hit someone low with it, even on a hit, she can be punished. It's so mean. John McCong, welcome. Yes, that is indeed me. Ooh, damn. Come on. Ow. Oof. Yeah, instead of the typical hurricane kick that this character design style usually has, yeah, they have these uppercut moves where they stay in place. Kinda mean. Oh no! Oh, you're kidding me. Ah. It has been a little while. I have only 2 people, I should say only 2 competitors attended the Fun Spot tournament every single year that it ran. 16 years, and I am one of those 2. But they have stopped doing those tournaments as of 2 years ago. I haven't been there since, but I do try to get there when I can. It's yeah, it's an amazing place. Yeah, Fun Spot is one of my favorite places on the planet that I've ever been. Well, this at least gives me the chance to show off one of the 2 things I wanted to say. As I mentioned, the Japanese version of this game is called Dead Dance, and yeah, it doesn't pull any punches as far as that's concerned. Yeah, if you lose, yep, you're looking at your character's tomb. Here lies the loser. And if you continue, the door opens. I like that. So at least I did want to show that off. I would have preferred to show it off later, but yeah. So that's what has a nice little depiction there. So yeah, you get the sense you're playing for keeps here. Oh, there we go. Come on, Zazie, let me win this one. Oh, crap. That should not have happened. Ugh. There we go. Yes! Yes, Ninja Gaiden. Oh man. And, yeah, Tecmo's other arcade brawler, their Tecmo Knight for Wild Fang. That one's kind of mean too. No future. You walked right into that. If Zazzy's fireball and uppercut and whatnot look more impressive than what his clone, so to speak, what CO had in the first round, yeah, that's because he's been powered up. Ugh, come on. Hopefully I'll actually win this fight, because I really want to show off, yeah, Kotono gets much the same thing. But it is not trivial. This is the normal difficulty setting, and the AI is pretty good. That was a oh damn. Yeah. Alright, Ken, how hard do you want to be thrown tonight? Uh-oh. Ah! Damn it! Yeah, as you can see, the AI actually uses some rather human strategies. It knows how to take advantage of a player who's gotten themselves in the corner. It knows how to mix things up and keep them there. It's brutal. Good enough, I'll take it. Yeah, I don't actually need to finish out the next fight. I just wanted to show off how things do actually get powered up. So now we're actually in the tower proper. And here's our first opponent, Beans, age 25 from USA. Weapon, American Sack. Yeah, I don't know either. No idea. Yes, this game embraces its sort of Mad Max Reject vibe to the hilt. And, if I can get this guy to give me a little distance... There we go, now we're shooting fire daggers. Kunai. Blazing Kunai, and her rising attack will similarly... Well, it's a little harder to see for that move, isn't it? But yeah, her feet are on fire as she does it. By the time you get to the final boss, the Kunai will be a massive ball of flame. And her, yeah, she'll just become a whole full-body fire rocket on that rising attack. Yeah, beans. Alright, that's enough. I can close that one up now. Okay, so it's nearly midnight. I have an hour left on my usual schedule, although I did start a little late. So I might actually run, I might still do an hour and a half. I don't know. I guess we'll see how it goes. See how well I do at the brawler portion. But I'm happy with how far I got here. Admittedly, I didn't balance how much time I spent on each individual game terribly well. But yeah, covered 5 different platforms. So there's an odd little random smattering of one-on-one fighting games that never had an arcade version, never had an arcade release, never part of a series that had any arcade entries whatsoever, actually. Some of the other games that I could have played, I mentioned Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters, 3 different versions on 3 different platforms. I could have played any of those. I learned that there was a Yu Yu Hakusho game that was made by Treasure, actually. and it has a fighting engine very similar to Guardian Heroes. A game that sadly I will not be playing during the brawler section of this as much as I would love to. But yeah, so that is something that I know exists. I haven't played it in any way, shape, or form, but that's good stuff. I actually like that. And Shaq Fu, of course, was mentioned in chat, as was the Clay Fighter series. And of course, when Clay Fighter comes up, I also have to think of Double Dragon 5, The Shadow Falls, which was a one-on-one fighting game for the SNES. That game, of course, does have arcade entries, but Double Dragon 5 was never actually in the arcade. That was a strictly a console release. And in case you're curious, the reason why Clay Fighter makes me think of Double Dragon 5 is that I wrote the old moves lists for those two games. The old back in the Usenet days, the move list that circulated around for those two games, I started those. I propagated them. As a matter of fact, I think they're both on GameFAQs. You could probably go there, and they'll actually mention my name. I actually registered for the site at one point before they got bought out. So yeah, I think they're actually attributed to Zotmeister at this point. This is just one of those odd little things. And one other one that I would mention that it was clearly inspired by an arcade game, but it's not a port. It's definitely its own element, and it's actually one of my favorite fighting games of its kind. Match of the Millennium. If you're familiar with that. That was a one-on-one fighting game for the Neo Geo Pocket Color. And despite its humble platform, it is one of the most robust, in-depth, and fun fighting games of its time. It's just fantastic stuff. And it actually... I actually have the cable to link it to the Dreamcast version of Capcom vs. SNK, and there are things unlockable between the two there. It's very good stuff. I will probably be streaming that game at some point because I'm probably just going to do a Neo Geo Pocket Color night. I think I'm just going to make that one of my themes. Games of the Neo Geo Pocket Color, and I will definitely be doing it that night. Along with Card Fighters Clash to some extent. It'd be hard to not spend hours upon hours with that game, but yeah, so those are some of the other options. Yeah, no joke, there it is, the Zot Guide series, yes. Yeah, no, I am not known for lying. I am known for being painfully, brutally honest, especially with myself. Yeah, no, that was actually me back in the college days. Yes, I did make those guides. Yeah, so those were a number of the other games that I had written down as things that I could do tonight, and I suppose I do actually have enough to do this theme again. But yeah, and by all means, if you ever come up with some other game that fits the theme, or indeed if you come up with a theme, well, an overall theme for me to do an episode of Throwback Thursday on, feel free to let me know. You can put it in chat. You can tweet it to me. My Twitter handle is down below. It's at @thezotmeister. The is important. And yeah, I'll take a look at it and see what I can do. If it's an interesting game, I mean, I will gladly play bad games as long as there's something interesting to show off. Like, look at Eternal Champions. Yeah, just feel free to let me know. I'll look into it, and I'll be happy to show it off if I think it's an interesting thing to do. But what I'm going to do now is take a very brief break just to stretch my legs. This one really needs it right now. Pop-Tart's pillow is best pillow, and and get myself set up for the, well, half won't even remotely be an accurate term at this point. closer to a third or 40%, I guess. But the second act of this Throwback Thursday session, even though in this time zone it is no longer Thursday, whatever. I will be doing some brawlers, you know, the one versus many kind of game, which also had no arcade equivalents or you know, progeny, as it were. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But for now,